everyone, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to Grand Thornton Bharat's inaugural India Risk Week. In speaking with our clients, they had two major asks. Tell us how we can keep ourselves protected in a world that's often spinning in different directions, and share with us what you see are best practices that help us optimize our risk exposure. And GT Risk Week was conceptualized to do exactly that. We have put together a power-packed agenda comprising of masterclasses, webinars, in-person events, and podcasts on various topics of interest on everything risk. To kick off the week, I am extremely thrilled to have with us two of the finest risk professionals in India and people whom I am proud to call my friends and colleagues. Dipankar Savalkar. Dipankar not only pioneered forensic accounting, as we know, in India, but has been at the forefront of the evolution of risk consulting in India over the last 3 decades. He is a senior partner at GT India and leads our consulting business across practices. Dinesh Anand. Dinesh championed risk services at the intersection of going beyond books of accounts and into issues such as reputation, integrity, and ESG, from setting up the first proper corporatized corporate intelligence practice to creating innovative solutions and around risk and governance. Dinesh has a very unique perspective on all things risk. So welcome, Dinesh and Dipankar. A pleasure to, as always, to be with you on a podcast and to discuss everything that we want to discuss around in the Risk Week. But before I kind of delve into the agendas, both of you have had incredible careers, incredible journeys, and I would just like to get your perspective on how you see the evolution of risk and what it really means for our clients today.
Oh, thanks, Gagan, for having us on this. Really excited about the Risk Week. To me, in today's environment is so challenging and is changing every day, and that's really the norm now. So let's take an example of the whole tariff situation which has come about. Everyone knew the tariffs were going to come, but not in the way they actually happened. And this changing. So now that's inherently created a risk situation. It's a business risk situation, some compliance or otherwise, right? So I think it is the Risk Week, to my mind, is about helping prepare our leaders to what to do, how to go about it. Sometimes you can't really prepare for it, you have to react to it. And what is it that we as GT can bring to the table, make them better understand and appreciate and react for their stakeholders.
Dinesh?
No. So I think exactly adding to what Dipankar said, right? If I really look at it over our years, we always focused on reputation, fraud. These are the risks we spoke about. But so much has changed and so much has happened which we would not have expected to happen, right? For example, health or the pandemic. That was one of the biggest risks which we all faced with. War. Today, you're talking about tariffs. War is a risk which has become evident. Cyber, right? You see companies coming to a halt, you see data being stolen, right? That to me is the third biggest risk. And finally, ESG, right? The whole environment risk, right? Companies being shut down because of flooding, because of many other factors. So the whole risk landscape has changed. And I think this week's going to be exciting because in a lot of those topics, we have some really interesting stuff which is going to be spoken about.
No, I think, in 2019, if you remember, we had a client and we were presenting and talking about a pandemic and they were laughing at us saying, well, that can never happen. New consultants, come in with all these, fancy stuff and slides and then look what happened. So there's a learning in that. Dipankar, why Risk Week? Why now? What does it really mean for people?
Yeah, so as I said, it's about preparing our leaders to face uncertainties at one level, but let's look at other elements of risk. For example, could be digital, could be crisis, right? Crisis, as Dinesh talked about, is not really about just fraud. Crisis could be on any matter, crisis is something which disrupts your normal way of operating. Now, you can create a good old traditional way, also have a likelihood and impact metric, right? Matrix. But is that enough today? What if there is a likelihood is low, but the impact is high? There is some preparation to it, but frankly, very less, because you don't want to do that. But then you want to think about recovery and how you're going to come out of it in the best possible way. And that is one way to look at it. So all these elements come together at Risk Week. And I'm glad we're doing it like not just one session or 2 sessions, but doing it in a sustained way over the entire week, so that we are giving a comprehensive coverage for our people.
Dinesh, this is the precursor to what we're going to be doing this week. What can a participant, somebody who invests the time to come attend the sessions, listen to what's being put out, what can they expect from this?
I think the biggest thing is really how do organizations navigate when they face a crisis, right? When you face a crisis, there is chaos everywhere, there is confusion, suddenly lines become blurred as to who's supposed to communicate. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to tell you how can organizations communicate with the regulators, how can organizations communicate effectively with stakeholders, with their own employees, so that trust, which is the cornerstone of everything, remains intact. So we're going to talk about how do leaders face pressure, how does the board communicate, right? Because it's going to be the board's tone on how they deal with this crisis, which really determines the course of how the company is going to lead in the future. And of course, we're going to keep talking about governance and control. Today, I think governance is no longer a tick box. It's really the epitome or the backbone on which the trust of an organization is built, right? And if trust is broken, it can take you years to regain that.
And, one question I'd like to ask to both of you. Both of you sit on, go to interact with board members, interact with top management, and interact with regulators, see how business decisions are taken, not just financial decisions. But in all these interactions, discussions, what do you really see is what's really shaping the risk for India? What really is shaping the way, the contours of risk, and how organizations and boards are?
Yeah, I mean, I would say two things, right? No longer is what risk am I going to face. So in the olden days, if you really looked at it, all organizations started by doing an ERM, and an enterprise risk management kind of took care of, what is it that could be potential disruptors for me. And that ERM was then not looked at for maybe 7-8 years. I think in today's day and age, risk is becoming so unpredictable that it needs to be re-looked at, right? So if today when we are talking about, I would say there would be two prime risks which are coming in my mind, right? ESG, which in my opinion is the new ERM, and the second is cyber. I think these two really are what is going to shape a lot of what organizations need to do.
So, Gagan, to me, a lot depends on the stage an organization is at. And frankly, the same board member thinks about risk issues differently if they are sitting on let's say, digital native versus sitting on a large corporate board, right? Because the challenges are different and they look at things differently. So for example, when they sit on a digital native and in a regulated industry, their biggest discussion and how do you balance risk and entrepreneurship and innovation in this case is that, yes, we want to be compliant, but we know that innovation happens at the edge of regulation many times. So how are we keeping ourselves safe? Now that's a conversation they want to have with us and bring our experience, right? Similarly, in a large corporate, let's take a large regulated industry, always take like financial services. I don't think so there is any activity a company or the bank does or an insurance company does which will not factor in the risk equation. So it's a tripod sort of a thing for me. It is business, it is technology, and it's risk.
And what I hear from you guys also is, building resilience and earning trust form very important cornerstones of whatever is happening in this space. That's a great perspective. And not to be salesy, but obviously we work very hard at GD to build a leading risk consulting practice. And I want to just ask from the two of you, from your perspective, what do you think what are we doing differently to help our clients navigate this very extremely complex space?
I think the biggest thing is really when we come in as our clients' partners. We don't come in as a vendor. We are not your vendor. We are not your consultant. We are your partner. We come in to solve a problem statement. The approach we follow is it doesn't matter whether I'm forensic, you are cyber, you sit in business transformation. It's really about how do we come together as one integrated team? And I think that's what our clients are appreciating. The fact that we come to understand what is the problem statement and to find a solution as your business partners.
Yeah, our purpose as GT is about shaping vibrant Bharat. And it really comes down from that. And one of the key ecosystems which we are influencing or we want to be part of is regulatory And I'm just relating, but there are others, like for example, could be private capital, could be go supply chain, and some of those trust issues and everything else. I think so. The way we want to, and as just picking up from Dinesh said, is conversations is how are we having listening conversation, understanding, and then being there for the client, right? But having said that, I know you said not being salesy, but probably I think so we have really taken a lot of time in investing in the right people, right accelerators and technology, and how can we, for example, right, do continuous monitoring rather than doing periodic audits. Well, how can we do real-time audits and let you know what's happening as it is happening, whether it's a SOC, whether it is analytics, so on and so forth.
And I think I would like to add one statement to what Dipankar mentioned, right? I think that the key thing, differentiator for us as a firm is today, we have solutions. We have moved away from service lines. So we have solutions which address a client's need. Solutions consists of various people from service lines. And I think that is the way forward, which everybody would need to do to be able to deliver.
No, it's only fair. As the risk business has changed, so should the risk consulting business. So I guess transformation works both ways. With that, this is a great precursor. Thank you to the two of you for being here and for launching the inaugural GT India Risk Week. We will go through the programs this week. You will see a lot of content coming out from us, podcasts, webinars, in-person sessions. To those who are unable to attend, we will make sure the key points get highlighted, and we look forward to possibly launching a paper at the end of this week that summarizes the discussions. So thanks to the two of you, and we look forward to an exciting week ahead. And from all of us at GT, have a great week ahead.